put me in the room, Han. Don't put me in no rumors. My passion for music started when I was young, when I was a teenager. I didn't always know that I wanted to pursue music, but it's something that intrigued me. I got into hip hop when I was in high school. What called me to pediatrics was when my niece was born. Very close to my sister. She has a beautiful baby girl. She's now 11, but we were very close. And then she was a single mom at the time. She was staying with me. Having a child, a baby in the house and understanding and diapers and all of that, it kind of drove me towards that, because when I did have to deal with babies, I kind of realized I have a kind of a delicate or just a natural thing with it. And funny enough, the hospitals that I'd work at, they'd say, okay, work in the pediatric department, you're good with the kids. So I'll always be around working in a pediatric department. Wagwan guys, it's Dr. Rain, aka the hip hop doctor, aka the pediatrician with biceps. There's so many rappers, but we don't have rappers that are also doctors.
A lesson medicine taught you that music reaffirmed for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to Beyond the Brand, Moments That Made Us with me, Hannah G. This is that space where I meet amazing humans doing beautiful things, building fantastic brands. And I just want to talk to them about brand building. I want to ask, how did they do it? How are they doing it? Why are they doing it? And with me today, I have the amazing Dr. Rain, who is a daktari, but also a content creator. Something nowadays they are calling medfluencers. Very new word indeed. And I want to get into his brand so that I get to understand what is going on in that space. Dr. Rain, how are you doing today?
I'm good, very well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I'm happy that you're here.
Santi.
Yeah, some hot water? Warm water?
Yeah.
You already have some?
I have some.
Let me add you just a little bit. Just because I like serving my guests. There you go.
Thank you.
Lovely. Now, I am a personal branding coach, and we have not even met before. I've only met you online. I have been doing branding for probably 7 years now.
Wow.
And I meet people who are building brands. I'm passionate about just seeing what people are doing with their brands. And your brand really intrigued me when I looked into it. And that's why we're having this conversation. Because I thought, this is a medical doctor. In fact, when I looked at your profile, I was like, sometimes people are rappers and musicians, and then they call themselves Dr. Dre, Dr. Somebody. So I thought, this is one of those. And then I looked and I saw you are actually a doctor who's supposed to be wearing a white coat. And you are over here speaking bars and just, doing all these things. And I thought this is going to be a very interesting conversation. And that's why I have you here, so that we can talk about how you have built this brand. So how do you mix that, by the way?
Wow. Yeah. So I get that a lot.
Yeah.
How do I kind of handle all those different things? I don't know. It's somehow I'm doing it, but I think it's experience, because it's something I've been doing since I was young. So my passion for music started when I was young, when I was a teenager. I didn't always know that I wanted to pursue music, but it's something that intrigued me. I got into hip hop when I was in high school. And then eventually I went to study medicine. But it's that passion of creation and creativity and being able to make music and creating music with your friends that kind of made me continue it. There's a time I'd stopped. I told myself, okay, I'm going to become a doctor, so it's time to put away with the childish stuff and focus. But it kept calling me back. And I think when I was doing my medicine, I studied medicine in Russia. I kept on doing music. I kept on meeting people who are into music. So I kept pursuing it. And eventually in Russia, I ended up, becoming an artist there, a performing artist, performing with some of my favorite hip-hop artists when they used to come on tour in Russia. Met a lot of people in the hip-hop game and continued doing it. So then I became a doctor, started practicing as a doctor, and then I'd take a pause and say, okay, now you're a doctor. I'd tell myself that. But when you're a creative, you're a creative. When you're an artist, and it's like you can stop, you can give a pause and take a break, but eventually it calls you back. So I think it's experience that I'm able to kind of now even expand now into the content creation space, because at the end of the day, I've always been an artist. I've always been creative. The creativity is there. It's always flowing. So now when you add on to now the other thing now, which is social media, and then fusing my own charisma into the medicine that I've learned, and just building off that in a very different, in a very kind of, I think people relate to me because I don't speak like a doctor. They understand when I speak. And if you know what I mean, is when you go to a doctor and we have a lot of medical jargon and we're always, speaking very professionally, and that loses the patient. So
Yeah.
I think that's the niche that I kind of established.
Yeah. But those two things are worlds apart. Like
True.
when we were growing up, when I'm in high school, I'm in primary school, there are kids that teachers would look at and go like, that one is going to go into the arts. This other one is going to go into serious stuff, like medicine and math.
Yeah.
So for you, if you started getting the interest for arts when you were very young, why not go to School of Arts?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I think I was always into arts as a kid. Like I used to draw. I used to be very good at drawing. But the music, I got it a bit later. Some people start music as early as they're 3-4 years, and they've started playing piano. And you start music school and training, and you know about notes. For me, it's just hip hop that I got introduced to at a particular time in my life. And I resonated a lot with the hip hop. The culture. So from it being a culture, it being the 5 elements of hip hop and b-boying and graffiti and spoken word and knowledge and all of that stuff, it really, really intrigued me. So as I started tapping into that culture, listening to the music, is when eventually I felt like I also have something to say, and I can do this kind of art form. And that was probably when I was like around 14 years old. And I really did it. I was good very, very quickly, because by 16 I was winning shows. I was in another country. I was in Botswana, where I did my high school. I was performing, kind of building. So the logical thing at that time, I did want to do sound engineering. I wanted to go to South Africa to do sound engineering because I was interested in that and production and that stuff. But what I knew I was good at in school was sciences, physics, biology, chemistry, maths, and those things. And my parents were always supportive, but they'd always say, you can do the music as long as your grades are good and stuff like that. So very, I'd say African stereotypical, but very supportive at the same time. They're like, okay, if he's doing his music, they'll support me 100%. But they were keen on that. I always wanted to do something sciencey. I wanted to be a marine biologist, but somehow medicine was also another option. I didn't grow up like some doctors. You'll hear their story. They'll tell you, like, since they were 5 years old or 6 years old, they knew when I grow up I'm going to become a doctor. For me, it wasn't that. I think I was moved towards medicine because at the time I was more or less dealing with a very chronically ill mother. She also had done some kind of pre-med course while she was in the States, and she wanted to pursue it, but life took her another way. So it was kind of like, okay, let me do medicine, make my parents proud type of thing. And if I'm doing it, I can still do my music.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So I'm hearing States, I'm hearing Russia, I'm hearing Botswana. Where did you grow up?
So born and raised Mombasa, Kenya. Yeah, I'm a Pwani boy.
Yeah.
So my parents are in the hospitality industry. My dad, first executive chef out of Utalii in Kenya. My mom is in the hospitality industry, tourism a lot. There's something called there was the Mombasa Tourism Association, things like that. So she worked with a lot of tour companies, brought a lot of tourists. That's the space they were in, and hospitality as well. Because now on the side they did own a couple of bars and restaurants. Yeah. So after bomb blast, after what happened and all the warnings, business wasn't so good. So because she used to travel a lot around the world promoting Kenya, back in the days there was no social media and stuff. So you had to go for expos in different like European countries, different countries, benchmarking type of situation. So she went to Botswana and she realized there's a lot of potential for tourism. They have the largest elephant population. They have the only inland delta in the world, the Okavango Delta. So she's like, okay, let me take, let's go there, consultancy, I can see a potential. And also for the hotels, because there weren't many hotels. So, and my dad as well. So we moved there that was like late 90s, 2000. So I grew up, my high school was there. Basically all my high school was in Botswana, in Gaborone, which is very close to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So even South Africa. And then I went to study medicine in Russia.
Wow.
Yeah. So at that time, the University of Botswana didn't offer medicine as one of the subjects, and I went through the Botswana system. It was a GCSE system, but they call it the Botswana GCSE system.
Yeah.
So it became a bit tricky to now start applying to Kenya, trying to quantify or justify your certification versus what now guys were doing 844 at that particular time. So it was just in the newspaper. My dad saw it and he's like, okay, why don't you apply for this? And I did. And within like 2-3 months, they accepted me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was that.
And it takes you how long to study medicine?
So I was in Russia for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Studying, yeah.
1
year I studied the language. And then the other 6 years I did medicine, yeah. 1 year in Russian, and then I stopped in my second year I did it in English.
Oh, they have that as well?
Yes, they have the option of doing it in English.
Yeah.
After the first year, I realized it's going to be such a headache trying to translate everything, all the medicine I know, because their language is very rich. So some of the words are actually Russian words, and it's not like Latin words or English words that you can kind of relate to. Yeah.
I see. And this time, at what point do you decide it's going to be pediatrician? You're going to work with, because you are a pediatrician.
Yes. So becoming a specialist was much later. So the journey of medicine is that of there are those people who actually know exactly what they want to be. They'll tell you from high school, I want to become a neurosurgeon, and they go for it and they'll want to do neurosurgery.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't thinking that long term. I did want to do surgery when I started doing medicine. So I had an interest in surgery because I felt surgery is also very creative. It's like art, because you have to be good with your hands. It's something you have to learn. And I knew I was always good with hands and fixing things. So I said, okay, surgery is probably something that I want to do. But after I finish, you do your internship, you finish your internship, and then you work as a doctor. And I just think it's the exposure, what I was exposed to. But really what called me to pediatrics was when my niece was born. So very close to my sister, she has a beautiful baby girl. She's now 11 now. But we were very close, and then she was a single mom at the time. So she was staying with me. So having a child, a baby in the house, and understanding and diapers and all of that, it kind of drove me towards that, because when I did have to deal with babies, I kind of realized I have a kind of a delicate or just a natural thing with it. So I was like, okay, maybe pediatrics.
Yeah.
And funny enough, all the hospitals I'd work at, they'd say, okay, work in the pediatric department, you're good with the kids. So I'll always be around working in a pediatric department. I'd work in pediatric clinics under, some of my seniors, some of my mentors. And more and more people kept saying, you know what, you need to open your own clinic. And then some of my mentors who are pediatricians are like, you need to go and just do pediatrics, because this is your thing. You can see the feedback. You're doing it better than even pediatricians that I have. Yeah, so that's how I ended up there.
Yeah. And did you open your own clinic eventually?
So we're headed there. Yeah. We're definitely headed there. The dynamics are different. But very recently, I will say that, so all this time it was employment. So you do your training, you get hired by hospitals, and you're still employed. It still feels like a rat race. So I think as of 2 months now, I'm now a self-employed, fully independent consultant.
Oh, well done.
I do have a clinic where I'm in partnership with a place called Tibu Health. So I have full autonomy of my patients. it's a beautiful space to start with. It's not, I can't call the entire space is not mine. And a lot of what a lot of us specialists now are doing is that we're doing a lot of group practices because the dynamics of medicine have changed. It's not what it was for our parents. Back in the days when your dad or mom was a doctor, it's soft life. Like you'd be going to the best schools, like, you know, because at that time, doctors, they were like a monopoly and things like that. But now things have changed. When you see doctors going on strike all the time, you see the rates of suicide in terms of interns going on. There's like 2,000 unemployed doctors. So that same narrative and the way the so-called noble profession used to be looked at is different. And that trickles down not only in the public sector, but also in the private sector. So it's taken a toll, and a lot of us are just grouping up as specialists to have our group practices so that it can make viable sense financially. Because you'll open up your clinic. Yeah, sure, I can open up my clinic. But then there's overheads, you have utilities, you have the nurses to pay, you have your front desk staff you have to pay, you have your accountants you have to pay. You know, there's rent that you have to pay. And then at the end of the day, it's very chaotic because if you don't take particular insurances, then people won't. The majority of the Kenyan population right now, when you tell them to pay 3,500 for consultation, it's a bit of a stretch. When you tell them to pay 5,000, they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah, you don't live in this country.
Yeah, and if you're coming out of pocket, and most who are employed will be like, okay, if I'm employed and I've been insured by my employer, then it makes sense for me to see you and my insurance covers it. But getting into those insurance panels or so you can accept insurance is just another ball game in Kenya. There's a lot of cartelism, and you kind of have to just know your way like a Kenyan, like, okay, this is the biashara and this is how it's going to be. So because of all of those challenges, your patient numbers usually higher in insurance space, but doing it individually, trying to get on those panels without necessarily being an institution like a hospital or like a group practice where everybody pulls in and it makes sense for the insurance companies as well. Then you can do very well, like medicine wise. But it's still not, we're still not earning what doctors were earning then.
And I know even when I was in high school, to go to college, they brought us things that, you want to be a lawyer, doctor, there were those careers that you wanted to be. And as I was researching you, I saw that you do have a child.
Yes, my dad, proud
you are
dad.
A dad.
Yeah.
Yes. So would you still tell your child, hey, go and do medicine because it's a lucrative, you're going to make the monies here?
So I took my boy for vaccines the other day, and I took him to the clinic. And one of the reasons I love working there or in our clinic is that it's very homely. It feels very homely. So first he asked me, it's like, are we in a hospital? And he asked me that because he's been in a hospital before and he knows the vibe of a hospital. But this one seemed a bit different. He was wondering, why are they like couches and, sofas and things like that? And then he got very comfortable in the doctor's room, and I think it was curiosity, touching things. And I was just looking at him and I was like, he's so intrigued about this stuff. And I'm teaching him that this is a stethoscope, this is an otoscope, this is this. That kind of, I was happy that he's interested, but at the same time I was scared because medicine as a profession is, wow, right now it's one of the most high stress type of jobs in the world. If you look now we're shooting this in November, Men's Mental Health Month, and we're looking at, it's number one, suicide. The profession of suicides is one of the top is medicine.
Is it?
Because of all the PTSD we see, if you work in a place where the systems are broken, like for example, our public healthcare system here in Kenya, where it's not perfect, and where certain things are broken, then it leads to more loss of life. and you get exposed to that. So we see a lot of death.
Yeah.
It's also very, very high demanding. It's the only job where, things like conventional hours, a 40-hour working week doesn't apply if you're a doctor somehow. If you're a resident in training, you do even 80 hours in a week because you have to do your training, you have to treat. So it's your training, you're learning, but you're also treating humans, So it's a very stressful job, and that takes a toll on your mental health. And what I've been through with medicine and what I see a lot of people going through, I definitely wouldn't want my son to go through that, because at the end of the day, you do a profession, so you're waiting for the rewards, and really the return on investment in terms of monetary nowadays in medicine, it comes so much later in life. Probably, in your 50s is when you really start saying, okay, now 40s, yes, you can start saying, but it's still a rat race, you're still running around. And in your 50s is when you're like, okay, fine, now you have it. But then because you're the only person, if you're starting your practice, if you're coming to see me, you're coming to see me.
Yeah.
And it's either I'm there Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday, or I'm there 24 hours and I'm there for my patients. And yes, the more patients you see, the more money you make at the end of the day. But at what toll, at what expense, at what sacrifice does this come with? So to take it back, or to put it softly, like, if my son can be anything, I support him to do anything. If that's what he wants, like, I'm not going to but I will try my level best to just tell him, like, look, it's not all glitz and glamour in this. We keep it together. I think doctors keep it together very well, the few of us that do. And we also don't try to look like our problems, because at the end of the day, it's a noble profession. You're also trying to look like, play your part, look the part type of situation.
Yeah.
So he can be anything. Like, I think for me, like how people say, some people would be like, oh, if I find out my son is gay, I'll be devastated or whatever and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not worried about those things. For me, please just don't do medicine. For me, just don't do it. Yeah. And if he watches this one day, please, don't do it. Don't do it. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. But if that's
what he
indeed
wants
he wants, and even despite my warnings and whatever, and then I'll support him, and I'll see how maybe I can help him go through it a bit better and not experience the same thing that a lot of us doctors have experienced.
Yeah. That's very unusual. But I guess it's unusual, especially because the people telling their kids to do medicine are not in medicine themselves.
Exactly.
So only you can really know what goes on.
Well, there are a few doctors. I know a few doctors who their parents were doctors, and they
want
encourage
to keep the family going.
Exactly. So there are those people who do that, and I don't know. Some take it very well, or they handle the medicine very well.
Yeah.
But the mental health around the medical field, the way we train, the amount of hours we put in, the burnout, we usually don't say it. We don't talk about it. It's expected to be normal. At the same time, we feel as doctors, why would we talk about mental health and still expect people to come and see
us.
you? So there's that stigma about talking about it. But it's a very high, intense, you need to be on high alert all the time. Your cortisol, your hormones are all over the place. So you're always in flight and fight mode. You're constantly training. You miss out on birthdays. You miss out on weddings. You miss out on your son's first steps. You miss out on, all of those things. There's a price that comes with it. To be a good doctor comes with a price, because it means that you're engrossed in it. And if we don't focus on other things that are important other than medicine, there needs to be a way where it can kind of, balance. But I don't know. Until then, we will see.
Yeah. And even speaking about balance, because I think for you, it's even tougher than other doctors, because they're not in content creation, and you are.
Yeah.
And this is also a full-time job. there are people who take on content creation, social media as a full-time job. You have your job as a doctor. And then you have this other part where you are vocal on social media, because that's where I found you. So how do you do that then to make sure you're thriving on both?
You just need to find, like I said, I think for me it's experience. I've managed to know when it's time for work, it's time for work. When it's time for creativity, it's time for creativity. But now, that was me as a young man. Now I have different silos. There's time for me to be a dad. There's time for me to be a husband. There's time for me to be the doctor. There's time for me to be the provider. There's time for me now to be the artist, the creator. So I have all these different silos, and you have to create the time. Like even like fitness is also another very important. So I also have my different spaces where I kind of do my things. But at the end of the day, see, things like content creation, that came out of nowhere. It came through the COVID campaign, and I was like, listen, there's too much misinformation about COVID. Because I'd see people, and then people would tell me they heard about this, and I was told this, and the vaccine this. And then it's just, the more and more I heard that, and I was like, people are not getting the true picture, or people not even believing that COVID exists. So it started there. And that's when now it started picking. I realized, because my IG there was before just for my art stuff and my music. And then I said, okay, why can't I just talk about this and start educating people? Maybe because I'm a doctor, people will start understanding. Share the cases that we're seeing, or like the fact that there's no oxygen right now in hospitals, or the hospitals are full right now. If you have COVID, please don't do stupid things. Please stay indoors, wear a mask and things like that. Like just giving that. And that really took off. And then when it took off, that's when I saw, okay, there's a gap. We have a gap in this space, in the healthcare space. The other thing that also gave me a bit of experience was I hosted a health show before on Ebru TV. So there was a health show and I was there as the host. So I had a bit of experience with, talking about different topics, having guests, camera, all that stuff. And then with cameras as well from the music videos that I've shot. So I had a bit of that advantage, but now using it to just generate and create content that is health related and stuff like that. So that's how I started now, just slowly doing it, initially with the phone, initially doing it professionally with the team. Yeah.
And are you still rapping? Are you still, yes. Or is it something you did?
It's something I did. But yeah, my relationship with my music is that sometimes I stop and I just focus on now the health side. Yeah. Like when I was doing my master's, there was absolutely no time to delve in music.
Yeah.
And that was like 3.5, 4 years gone, couldn't create music. But then I got back, like I say, you tell yourself that now you need to concentrate on the things that make sense, the things that can generate income and, something you can fall back on. Because music is it's hit or miss type of thing. But I had to sit down with myself and say, why do you want to do music? And the reason I got back into music is because I didn't want my son looking at me as this guy who tried music, made a couple of waves, and then eventually, did what the status quo does and give up on his, ambitions or dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I got back into music. Yeah, last year I dropped an album, a collaborative album.
Oh.
Yeah, last month I dropped a new music. Yeah.
Oh.
Hip hop. Yeah, last month dropped a music video. 28th November got a new single music coming out called Mama We Made It.
Okay.
Yeah, video drops December 12th on Jamhuri Day. Yeah, so I'm still doing it. My son sings my music. He's my number one fan.
Yeah.
So it's those things. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because the monetary is good, that can come, and there's way I'm not just doing it so just to throw away money or whatever. But for me, it's not the end goal is not the money. the end goal is the impact. The end goal is the impression I'm leaving behind, because it's not only my son, it's my nieces, my nephews who are looking at me. It's doctors who are in medical school looking at me and realizing that, hey, you can actually do this. You know, sometimes I go speak at universities and I tell them, like, don't give up on your, if you're an artist, if you're playing that guitar, if you've started doing music, if you're drawing, just because you're in medical school, don't leave it. Because in life, when the medicine becomes really hard, it becomes your place that you can go to, your solace, your place of just to unwind.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that place, then you go to very unhealthy ways to deal with that stress and to deal with that pressure. And most of the times it's substances, it's drinking, you know, recklessly, it's getting into drugs and all that stuff, where your creativity can help at least make it not that it's an abuse of substances. You can enjoy the substances, but just don't use them as a soothing, you know, mechanism. Yeah.
Was that the case for you in Russia, where medicine is getting very hard and you're thinking, at least I have a place to go, which is hip hop? And by the way, even just to combine with this other question, when you're doing medicine for 7 years, are you thinking, I'm really enjoying this, I can't wait to graduate and become a doctor? Or are you thinking, I'm doing this, I want to get out of here and go do my hip hop?
Yeah. So at some point, I think it just got to my head. I guess it's also being young. I was like, you know, you're with Naughty by Nature, you're with guys like Guru, you're with guys like MOP, Busta Rhymes, people who seen you perform, or now you've bumped one-on-one, and these are the people you're meeting, and you're like, okay, this music is making more sense, it's opening more doors, it's, you know, creating more connections. And I was also making money at the time. I wasn't making crazy money, but I was making more at that time than a doctor would make in a month. I'd make that by doing just one show, sometimes even double the salary. So it's actually one of the rappers from the group Naughty by Nature, actually. Naughty by Nature, Vinny from Naughty by Nature and Fred Rostar from the rap group Onyx, that said, like, there's so many rappers, but we don't have rappers that are also doctors. So they're like, don't give up your medicine for rap. It won't make you unique.
Yeah.
Finish your medicine, become a doctor, and don't give up on the rap. And then that way you have, you know, everything. You're unique in that sense. You're now not Dr. Dre or Dr. Rain, but yeah, you're a doctor and you're also a rapper. So at some point, I was definitely not for the medicine side, but I was also excited. You can't take, like, when I graduated, I was really excited. I was proud of myself. I mean, I used to, the weekend, we'd go on tour, we'd do different towns or cities within Russia, because Russia is huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, Monday I'd be back on the train, or in the plane, I'd be revising my notes, sit for exams. Never repeated once. So yeah, I was also very proud and excited that I did medicine, because it's not easy.
And it's not. And it's not. So did you make more waves in Botswana or Russia?
I think I kind of made waves everywhere I touched down. So Botswana, yes, if you go to my generation, now things are different, you know. I'm a bit old, but if you go back in the early 2000s and people were there and you mentioned my name, they'll still remember me. Because at that time, like I said, I was doing shows.
And you went by what name?
By that time, I was B Rain.
Okay.
So I changed to Dr. Rain after I became a doctor. Yeah. So my artist name was B Rain. And so whenever there was like major hip hop shows, I'd be one of the people either enlisted or called up and stuff like that. Ended up knowing a lot of the artists who used to come also from like South Africa, like the late Double HP, Hip Hop Pansola, AKA, all of these people you managed to know through hip hop and later became huge artists.
Yeah.
In Russia, happy to say, like the hip hop, the true hip hop crowd and even all the big hip hop artists to this date who I see doing well, guys are driving Lambos, have Rolexes, we still talk, we still communicate on a very humble level. Like, yeah, I see what you're doing. I see you're a doctor. I see it now. You've got a kid. I'm proud of you. Things like that. So I feel like everywhere, it's only Kenya that I feel like maybe in the music I haven't really resonated. But in the hip hop space, yes, in our small thing of ours here in hip hop in Kenya, I'm known, but I wouldn't say like I'm a household brand name like in Kenya.
But your stuff is on YouTube.
Yeah, my stuff is on YouTube.
As Dr. Ray.
Yeah, as Dr. Ray. All the big artists. I know all the big artists who do hip hop. We respect each other. They respect me. So for me, honestly, it's I know my music is not fitting into these algorithms and streams and stuff like that. But I'm at a point where I know I'm dope, and having that validation from now the hip hop legends, where hip hop was born, from New York guys, artists in the States, to artists in other countries, to here, even the big names here. Once people give you that, like, okay, no, this guy is not just doing it because he's for fun. There's some things you do for fun and you're like, please stick to your day job.
Yeah.
And there are some people who tell me that because people don't like, if you're a doctor, can you just be a doctor? I don't want to know that at night you're going to a club to perform.
Yeah.
But I look at that as somebody projecting their own insecurities and their weaknesses. I'm like, if you can't fathom that yourself, please don't project that on me.
Yeah.
But I'm also okay with it. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah. What's your message when you're doing hip hop and rapping? What is your sort of signature message?
I think it's deeply rooted in activism, and I've matured to a point. I don't do the fictional raps where I'm talking about, I'm in a Maybach and I've got a Rolex and, things. I talk about realistic stuff, I talk about my life, basically, and experiences. I'm also very proactive citizen. So I call out impunity, I call out injustice, even in my music. But I think all in all, it's just being real and expressing what I want to express at that particular time. And the people who relate, they relate. If you don't relate, you don't,
Yeah, I actually want to talk about that activism bit of yours.
We call it artivism now.
Artivism bit of yours. But are you putting any Swahili lyrics in your rapping?
Yes. I'm much more fluent and more natural in English.
Okay.
Partly because of the reason that I left Kenya when I was young.
Yeah.
And for almost like 12, 13 years, I wasn't home.
Yeah.
So I was out of touch with, how Sheng keeps evolving and our language. So when I came back and I tried to write in Swahili, I was sounding like such a baby, and I was like, no, it's not being genuine, it's not being true to itself.
Yeah.
But yes, I do mix. Now I'm confident. Now I've lived here since 2012. I've been back. Oh. So now I'm Swahili Kosa, and so I mix it up in there. I did it very intentionally in the beginning, but now I'm also moving away where I want, okay, I don't want to do too much Swahili. I'll put some Swahili in there so that okay, this guy is Swahili, from maybe here, Kenyan. Yeah. But I want also other people globally to understand the music, because now the world is such a small circle.
Yeah.
I want people in Germany, I want everyone to understand, if I'm rapping,
Yeah. Good. What are you advocating for as an activist?
As an activist? Injustice. I mean, until we're all free, man, nobody's free. I really just hope one day human rights, everybody gets to enjoy this thing we call human rights, because sometimes it doesn't feel like it's a right. It's sometimes it's a right for other select people. So I'm very big on speaking up for the voiceless. I've realized that I'm fearless when it comes to calling things out, when they're not right. So I mix that there, but I'm also very intentional of boxes and people boxing you in, saying you're a pediatrician, you have to be a certain way, you're a doctor, you have to carry yourself a certain way. So I'm for that movement of be yourself, express yourself freely. And you can't express yourself freely unless you really, truly have freedom. And that freedom you can only have if you truly have justice, you truly have equality and things like that. So if you don't have all of that, that's how you have suppressed speech. You can't express yourself in a certain way. And so I'm passionate about that.
Yeah. And sometimes I see the activists, the advocates, and I'm thinking, just go to government. Just go there and let your voice be heard. Would you join politics?
It's something I've thought about.
Oh, really?
Yes, but politics not in the sense of an MCA, or I don't mind joining maybe in terms of advisory roles.
Yeah.
Like right now, if I'm involved in politics, it would probably be in the health docket.
Yeah.
Having experienced that, having a master's in child health, which also is basically public health and understanding how health institutions are supposed to work, and curbing that, or just being able to just give the top leadership, because health systems, the number one thing is leadership and governance. And once you have good leadership and governance, which have goodwill and the health of the people, then it can all be rolled down. And some people don't have that knowledge and experience that comes with doctors. So in that space. I also come from a political family, so there's always been pressure of, get into politics. But with the current system in place, I wouldn't get into politics. It's the system. I won't do much. If I vie for MP, if I vie for MCA, and it's the same systems, it's the same assembly. The leader is still suppressing this side, the judicial. So it's
But I thought that's where you get into that you can change that system.
We'd have to break down the entire system. For me to get into politics, it would be a destroy and rebuild. It would mean that we have to destroy the system that we're currently in. Now, I'm not talking about going to burn buildings or anything. I mean destroying the systems. Mean total overhaul of how things are working. Because the reason why a lot of things are not working in this country is not just because the leadership can't micromanage all the other places that are below him that seem to be continuing with the same status quo. So until we decide that we're removing all these people who are complacent and replacing and coming with a different type of system that is going to work for us, that is constitutional viable. And if the constitution is not supporting, or if we're seeing loopholes in the constitution, then we need to amend and tighten the constitution to make our laws much better. More, if in the constitution, people are not going to be liable or they can't be prosecuted because of different loopholes as they were leaders, then we need to amend that so that they can become accountable and so that they can become prosecutable. But you're not going to do that and I win on an independent ticket as an MP or as a senator, and then still the same, governments who handshake and call broad-based, and then, it just, for me, it doesn't make sense.
I wonder what it would take then.
I think we're getting there. I think Gen Z is creating a wave. And not just Kenya, you can see the Gen Z wave all over the world. Globally, you're seeing the uprising. And that's exactly, I think, what is needed, because the systems that are current, and it's not just our constitution. Like I said, we can't be free until we're all free. We can't break out of this until we say, okay, the world needs to get rid of capitalism and needs to understand that the problem is capitalism. Right now, we have enough money to end world hunger like this. But, bureaucracies and systems and things like that. So as long as one country wakes up, then we'll get hit by sanctions, trade sanctions, and then we get crippled because the system works favorably for a few countries and individuals and corporations. So until we're going to have a total change, which is slowly happening, we're seeing the Gen Z revolution. Once people realize all that is BS and we need to move away from capitalism, then we might see some change, positivity. Hopefully the generation of my kids complete that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Do you know Mike Sonko? Have you ever heard of Mike Sonko?
No, I know him. Yeah. I know Mike Sonko.
I think he was the closest person in government who looked like hip hop. And he was very popular with the young people.
Yeah, you have to, I don't know, it's just, I guess, yeah, he's very, let me call him flamboyant.
He was very with the chains and everything and yellow
and
shoes.
See, that's why hip hop is so big. Hip hop is just a music genre, but it's changed the way people dress, how people, carry themselves. Now hip hop, there's billionaires and you'll never see them wearing gold chains and things like that. But hip hop artists, that's what they do to express their wealth status.
Yeah.
And that's why you'd see people like Sonko to this day still doing that. I don't know if he's like a hip hop head or whether he listens to hip hop, but I do know that, the culture has influenced a lot. And it's not just him. You can see a couple of politicians also who are very, very flamboyant and like to do those things.
Yeah. What do you think the difference is between being popular and being influential? Because you are a medfluencer, medicine influencer.
Yeah, that's the term that they've coined for us. Nowadays,
Which one do you prefer?
I just call myself a digital health advocate.
Yeah, I like that one.
Because when you put me too much in the influencer box, it's like I'm selling you something.
Are you not though?
And sometimes I am selling you something.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm just giving you, I'm selling you information.
Yeah.
I'm selling you knowledge. Sometimes I'm just giving you the right type of information, but you're getting it from a source you can trust in a world where we have misinformation, disinformation, where I can filter through what is fake, what is real, and break it down into a more digestible way to tell you, okay, this is not true because of this and this and this. And people will trust that because they know my journey. They know that I'm all about scientific evidence first, and sources. If I'm saying something, I can reference my sources and where it's coming from, and I can tell you whether this is strong evidence, whether it's good evidence, and whether there's evidence but it's not strong enough. So I can't really tell you this is the way to go. So I'll always come with you from a point of evidence and good evidence and backing.
Yeah.
But I call myself a digital health advocate because that's what I do. I'm now in the digital space. It's not just on social media, it's on other things. I also work on other campaigns. I consult for different, health organizations. So it's something that the medfluencer is also. Again, I don't like being boxed in, if you've noticed. Yeah. So the medfluencer is like, okay, now we're boxing him and he's a med-influencer, and then all he has to do on social media is just health, related. And that I'm more than just a med-influencer.
More than that, yeah.
So to answer your question, I would say influential, because I've seen the impact of my content, my brand, and it carries a certain element of influence, heavy influence, especially from the younger doctors who are coming up in that medical space, to young kids who are watching, to top tier World Health Organizations reaching out, philanthropical organizations, NGOs reaching out because they've seen my work. So I'm influential in that sense.
Yeah.
Popular, yes. I will. If I get into a supermarket, definitely I'll get stopped and somebody will say, hey, you're that guy, or you're the Twitter doctor, you're Dr. Rain. So there's that popularity, but the influential part does more. Yeah.
I see. So when you're going to those meetings, consultancies, has anybody ever told you, hey, or maybe just frowned upon what you do because, hey, you probably don't know a lot of medicine things because you're a rapper? Or even in the clinic, you're treating somebody, and when somebody comes and sees, oh, he's a person, they're like, am I sure that he's going to do a good job over here if he's over here?
So I haven't experienced that in the clinic. So my patients have, I'm really glad that the patients who come to see me are very, not, I don't want to say open-minded, but they're very logical. I still go to my clinic, I'll still be in my earrings, my tattoos are still open, but they're the same people who, if they don't do the same, if they also don't have tattoos and they're professional and stuff like that, so they don't judge. They're also logical. They're like, okay, this guy studied for 7 years as a doctor, then continued and studied more years. He's got over 15 years of just learning and training. How is what he does in his studio, what he wears, whether it's earrings, what ink he has, going to impact? But you have, again, like I told you, when people want to project their own insecurities, or people want to project and want you to fit into what their perception of a doctor should be, then we have those problems. And those ones I usually tell them, because there are people who are open. Yeah, I love social media because everyone is opinionated. And like people will say like, yeah, this guy, doctor, rapper, mimi siwezi kukupelekea mtoto wangu. Like I won't take my child to come and see somebody who is also a rapper. You can't be serious in your life. Like you can't be serious as a doctor, and you're also telling us that you're things. Yeah. So I tell them this: in Kenya we have over 450 pediatricians.
Enda kwa huyo.
Enda ukamwone, si lazima nikuone. I don't need to, with that attitude I don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. When it comes to personal branding, I always say holistic branding. I'm very big on the 3I brand: influence, impact, and income. And definitely you are influential. That's good. And then we can see even on social media, a lot of people are following what you do. It's a very good thing. When it comes to impact though, do you have any sort of story, transformational story, that maybe somebody you've worked with or somebody who saw you do what you do, came and said, because it is you, because it was you, then this happened?
Yeah, I have. And I'm so proud of that I have those stories. Sometimes you get asked a question and you're like, hey, I don't have those. So there are people either directly I've mentored, or people who have watched my space or consumed my content who have inspired. And over the years, we managed to connect, and some of them are doing even better than me. And for me, it's more rewarding. I find that so rewarding. So one is my brother, who I brought into my production company. We started a production company, and he's now become one of Kenya's most sought filmmakers. And also just look at my journey as an influencer content creator, said, okay, I'm not going to hide behind the camera. I'm also going to start doing me, and giving him that confidence and building with him and introducing him to spaces, and just being not just that influence on social media, but being a mentor, being a role model, as much as you're older, making sure that they don't make the same mistakes, even business-wise, acumen in terms of contracts of, no, don't sign this contract unless they give you this and this and this and this. There's that. There's people in the medical space. One that I'm very proud of is Dr. Naf Masharia. He's the CEO of the Dental Spa. And he just reached out to me when he was about to open his spa, and he's really big on social media as well. He's doing extremely well with his life and just everything that he's doing. But I didn't know that I'm having impact on this person. Like, it wasn't direct, like, for example, like when I was mentoring people, like, so now ever since that connection, we now, we try to meet up and say, okay, how are you doing? What are you doing? So, and then these same mentors end up doing better than you, and also end up teaching you a lot of things in the long run, because there's never a lack of learning. Impact in the sense where I go take my car for alignment, and one of the mechanics comes and tells me, Doc, you need to realize that you saved my child. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, I saw this video you said about so the uvula, the kilimi, that you shouldn't cut the kilimi. So these are some of just a few of the stories, like, and they'll tell you like the mother-in-law and my wife were like, my child was really coughing and things like that, and I really didn't want to, but I was falling into it because mothers, and they'll
That's
tell
how
you,
it's always been
we did
done.
it, and they did it to this child. And the thing that convinced them is that they saw that it's a doctor who is speaking, somebody who is learned. He knows me. He says like, I know this guy. He comes into the shop, he brings his car. He's a proper doctor. And because they listened to that and they listened to the explanation, their child didn't get mutilated and didn't end up having any issues. So those are some of I think that the few things I can pick up from the top of my head. But yeah, when I'm being called to speak at, graduation for medical doctors, different forums, panel speaker, for a lot of the things that I do, then that's when I realize, okay, the impact is there. So in my digital health advocacy, other things that I'm proud of is some of the projects that I'm doing, especially around climate change and the impact of climate change on our health, and being one of the forerunners really talking about it, and working with all these different organizations as well. So yeah, the impact, I'm definitely seeing it.
Yeah.
What I really need to work on is my branding, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm going to get contacts now.
Sir.
So yeah, so now I'm seeing it, but I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, the brand has picked. Now the income cannot remain the same. The income now needs to trickle down.
Yeah, I was actually going to come to that, but I felt an ouch when you said mutilation.
Oh yeah, because it is mutilation. When you're cutting the uvula or the kilim, it's mutilation. It's the same way we call it mutilation when it happens to females, female gender mutilation, FGM. You're mutilating. You're removing an organ that you're not supposed to, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, thinking that when you remove it, they're going to stop coughing. No scientific evidence shows that. And I had to do a couple of videos to explain the origin, where it came from, how it's not really a true African tradition, and this came much later. Because if you don't know something, then you don't know better, So it's just lack of... and we can't be ignorant. Now that's the reason why we're having uprisings, because information is becoming more accessible. Now Dr. Rain can explain to you a pediatric condition, and all you need is TikTok. You don't have to come all the way to Nairobi and pay I don't know how much consultation to get information. Not consultation, not treatment, but information. And that's what people have been lacking.
Wow. I like that. That's deep. I just learned something over there. Yeah. Who's your consumer? Who consumes most of your content?
Oh, so now when I go to the good thing with social media, these platforms, they really know how to sort out your demographics. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised, but I think 70% of my followers are women.
Okay.
But it's not surprising. It's because, pediatrician, child, child, mother.
Yeah.
So
women childbearing age.
Yes. Or anyone thinking about
getting
childbearing.
Yeah.
Granted, probably there are some women who will just follow me for
Dr. Dre.
For Dr. Rain, But the majority.
Did you hear what I said? I said Dr. Dre.
You said Dr. Dre. Yeah.
And Dr. Rain.
Yeah, so they'll follow me for that too. But that's the majority, and then the rest but different demographics. Yeah. So Kenya, of course, is my number one. Nigeria, South Africa, Tanzania, the US, the UK.
Yeah.
Mainly that's my demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like from 15 all the way up to like 55, usually that's the range of my target audience. Yeah.
Do you get people who follow you and then they're writing, "Get out of here"?
Yeah, of course. Social media, like, I'm at a point where the brand is growing. The influence is stronger, especially on Twitter. So right now I'm not on Twitter. Or X. Now they call it X.
Now it's X.
So I'm on an X break. I usually just take breaks from there because that's where I feel people are more vocal.
Yeah.
It's not like Instagram where you have a face behind it or a profile and you can go and see who this person is and stuff. So X is one of those where it's just words, and anyone can try to use their words to try elicit, a kind of a response. So there's always that, but I'm unlearning and learning that there's some things you should feed, and there are some things you just don't need. You don't need to feed, especially if people will judge you based on a couple of characters that you've typed in a sentence and say, okay, then they judge you and say, this is the type of person you are.
This person is.
When you truly don't know anything about this person. Yeah.
What introduction would suit you better? The doctor who raps, or the rapper who also does things to do with doctoring?
So there's also a tagline I had that used to really irritate my wife, and also I used to think it was very cocky, but I usually start off by saying, Wagwan guys, it's Dr. Rain, aka the hip hop doctor, aka the pediatrician with biceps. So that's usually the tagline. It's very corny, but for some reason, when I stopped saying it, people are like, hey, how come you're not saying...
We still want the biceps.
We want the tagline.
And we want the whole thing.
Yeah, so when I say it's Dr. Rain, it's Dr. Rain, and then the hip hop doctor, you need to understand that as much as I'm a doctor, I'm also into hip hop. And then the pediatrician with biceps is just, I'm a pediatrician. Pediatricians are seen as these, we're these very soft spoken, we are teddy bears, in the medical world. And so biceps because of fitness. So I'm a pediatrician, but I've got biceps. So it can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So biceps because of my lifestyle, fitness,
Yeah. What do you see? Maybe 5-10 years from now, do you see a place where you can give another person to run your clinic, another pediatrician to do the work, and you do the hip hop?
Oh, definitely.
And you do the fitness?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
I've worked, like I said, just quit 10 years of employment in the private sector. I've been working for people, and the reason why I see doing that is sometimes I try to empower people into the entrepreneurial space, but some of my colleagues are still where we got indoctrinated by our parents. Do well, get good grades, become a lawyer, doctor, architect, engineer, and you'll get a good job.
Yeah.
The job will pay well. So they're still in that thing. So they believe they've studied, the jobs. They don't want to, and not everyone is an entrepreneur anyway. So I definitely see that. Why do I see that? One, not only is it creating time for myself, is that it's creating space for the younger generation. So I see myself having a whole entire outpatient pediatric center. Yes, I'm going to hire people because I don't feel like I'm the smartest. One thing going through a leadership course or program taught me is to delegate. Leaders are not supposed to be able to do everything, know everything. You're supposed to get the people with that knowledge and the know-how and the skill set to be able to execute certain things.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a general pediatrician. I want to have a place where if a child comes and they have speech delay, the mother is saying they're autistic or something and they're not sure, I want to have specialists there who can be able to take, because I can't become that. When they have issues with allergies, they need to be able to see the allergist in a professional sense. So I'm definitely heading 10 years from now, definitely.
Yeah.
But not to say that I won't practice, because I love it. I also love practice. It's just that I won't be Monday to Saturday there, having to see all my patients from morning to evening. I'm not saying that's not good. That builds experience and stuff like that, but you need to create time because I have other things that I need to do. I have bigger things. My life is more than just being a pediatrician and seeing, like, the digital health advocacy space is where I'm really trying to go forward, because misinformation is the next pandemic. And I'm already in the front line of that fight, and that's where I want to take it. The music, and of course that's going to create time for me, but also it's a challenge for me also to become more of a, in my entrepreneurial space where I'm like leading a team and mentoring other pediatricians who are coming in, creating that opportunity, because you're also going to be creating jobs for people who don't want to build from the ground up, because doing it on your own is building from some people just, okay, give me the job, I'm happy with it, create a conducive environment. And that's what I'd create, because I've been through it. I know what needs to be done. Yeah, and working with a team, multidisciplinary team, just the outcomes are so much better.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Karibu.
Very good information. And now that you've been through it, if there's a teenager, 17-year-old boy, they're looking at you and they're thinking, my mom is telling me I must become a doctor, I must become a lawyer, but I just want to be a musician, I want to rap, I want to be an MC, I want to be something different. How do they start that conversation with their parents? And that's your camera. I think just talk to them. They'll be watching.
Wow. I think you need to, if this is the 17-year-old, the first thing you need to do is show this to your mom and show this to your dad. Let's be realistic. Right now in Kenya, there's 2,000 unemployed doctors who are educated. You're going to spend a lot of money educating your child to become a doctor, only for them to probably end up unemployed or kind of slowed down with the way things are going in the system. They've dedicated themselves, they're going to sacrifice, it's a lot of hard work, and they're going to feel like it wasn't worth it, or they were kind of duped into something that wasn't realistic. If they do want to become an artist, you need to tell them the same thing. Go for a passionate thing. Teach them skills. You need to learn other skills. Medicine is a skill, and it's something good to have. But don't do it thinking that once you become a doctor, financial freedom and your life is going to change. Not in the Kenyan setting. And even if you go abroad, you will make the extra money, but you'll still be in the same system of medicine. So unless you truly and passionately believe that you want to become a doctor, go for it. If your child truly believes they want to do music and pursue it, there are musical schools. There are people out there doing amazing things. We have Kenyan artists who have gone to musical school. We have Lisa Dwar, we have Karun, we have Zinia Manasseh. All these people have gone to musical schools and they can do their art and they're doing what they love. None of them maybe is in the multimillionaire category, but they're doing what they love, and that is what is making them whole and making them complete. Yep. So do what's passionate, do what you love. Don't, the whole engineer doctor thing, that's dead. It doesn't, it's, we still need them, but please don't tell them that it's going to change their life, because you'd be lying.
Amen.
Yeah.
That one was an amen moment.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Karibu. I appreciate that.
Karibu.
Finish for me this sentence, because we are coming to the close of this conversation. Beyond the brand I am.
Beyond the brand, let's say I'm the hip-hop doctor, the pediatrician with biceps.
Look at that.
The guy who said I'm not being boxed in and going to go for my goals. I'm the husband, I'm the father.
Yeah.
Beyond the brand.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We usually have a segment called the 3 sips of truth. It's like your quick fire, but there's no pressure. Okay. So you can think about the questions. Yeah? So Dr. Rain, one song lyric that defines your philosophy on life.
Oh, so my own song lyric from Dr. Rain, get the bag, awesome rain the stands. Put me in the room, Han. Don't put me in no rumors. Yeah.
I just needed a bit.
Oh, you wanted more?
No, I just needed a bit. I was like in it. But
yes.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, put me in the room, don't put me in no rumors.
Yeah, put me in the room, don't put me in the rumors.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Number 2, a lesson medicine taught you that music reaffirmed for you.
Oh, that music and medicine is the same. So it takes extremely long to become a doctor, to become a musician. It's a journey. You see the artists when they blow up, but you don't see the hours that they've put to become who they are. People now, you see the Dr. Rain, the pediatrician, but you're not seeing the hours I put, the cold weather in Russia, the sleepless nights in Mpeketoni, the crazy calls in Kenyatta National Hospital, you see where I am now. So music and medicine is one of those things. Before you actually make it, you're really going to just have to grind and push and push. And many times you feel like you're not seeing the end of the tunnel. But
Yeah.
The music and medicine is the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes usually whenever we're in studio, I tell some of my peer artists, I'm like, guys, I chose the wrong passion, because medicine, long game. Music, long game. Where's this money?
Why is it
we're
not
all
coming
creating
yet?
good stuff.
Everybody's creating.
Yeah, but
Yeah. That's a very important point. Yeah. So that they don't think medicine takes long, but music you just wake up and do.
And also they shouldn't think music is just all glam. You're seeing people in the videos. Yes, they've hired those cars and they have to look the part. They can't.
They're working.
Yeah, it's work, but it's get ready for it's the long game.
It is. Yeah. It is. And finally, what is your biggest dream on stage or in the hospital?
That's a good one. No, there's when you've been on stage and there's different experiences. There could be like 50 people in the crowd and they're all vibing with you and it's amazing. And then there's experience when, lucky to have experienced that, when there's like 50,000 people in the crowd, that energy is just, it's very, it's a drug. That one, the rush you get is crazy. But again, the feeling you have when you leave theater with somebody's baby and you've delivered with the ops guy and has delivered the baby, you've checked the baby, if there was any issue or if the baby was not breathing and you've brought that baby back and you tell them, the baby had some issues, but baby's now okay. And you see the look on that dad and that mom, that's also priceless. It's a very hard question, but very, very. I think that's the closest to the stage and also to that. It's knowing that you've made that impact, and that you did that,
You took me way back. Thank you for sharing. Did you enjoy that conversation?
Yeah, I had fun.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so happy
I'm
you
humbled.
came. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
This was Beyond the Brand, Moments That Made Us with me, Hannah G. And for now, it's a bye-bye. Thank you.